Excellent, thank you so much. Good evening and welcome to the May 13th meeting of the Pearl L. Crawford Memorial Library Board of Trustees. Just as a reminder, this meeting will be recorded. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very fancy pen here someplace.
Is the boring one that's sitting right there?
All right, I'll use that. Thank you. All right. If we could please review and approve the meeting minutes from the April 8th, 2025 meeting. I don't know if everyone got a chance to review those already.
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 8th to 2025.
Second.
Wonderful. A motion has been made by Ms. Korch and seconded by Mr. Clark. Oh my gosh.
All in favor?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. And
Excellent.
I will abstain because I was not there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Passes with the exception of Mr. Craver's abstention. Second point this evening would be the board reviewed the March 11th, 2025 meeting minutes. Mr. Clark made a motion to accept the March 11th meeting minutes as written, and Ms. Korch seconded. Motion was passed unanimously.
Actually, it was just the opposite.
Oh,
I made the motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
in March?
In there, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I was going by this.
Okay, perfect. Next we move to the director's report.
Okay. So meetings for April was the Finance Committee meeting to talk about the budget with the Board of Selectmen. I also attended a CW Mars Directors meeting. On the 14th of April, I had the new website training, so that's complete. And then finally wrapped up the month on the 29th with the Town of Dudley Department Head meeting. For staffing, the staff did their regular duties this month. There were some interesting additions. Kathy did a webinar for dazzling displays for the children's room. Deb did some really interesting work in the catalog this month. Next month for our meeting, we'll put it up on the screen so everyone can see the changes that we made to the catalog. We're realizing that some people are having a hard time differentiating between our website and the library catalog. So those two things are different, and I think if we see them and show them, people might be able to understand them better. But she did a lot of work in the catalog. It looks fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that was exciting. Anne did a resource sharing and brief mark record training, which is directly related to her cataloging. Lena's working on monthly crafts for the teens, coming up with some fun things. Dawn is doing some biography reading. And the big news for May is our summer intern will be back. She's actually starting this week. We will be paying her part-time through the summer out of our Seat 8 account to help us at the library this summer. We're very excited to have her back. The vacation schedule is starting, so the schedule is looking really tight. So. The facility update, Renaud was out to do the preventative maintenance of the filters on the HVAC system and do the summer switchover. They did find a small leak in the attic. It's the heater that's at the end of the eave. It has since been fixed since April, so that's all set and ready to go. I do not have that invoice yet. We also are having some small issues with equipment being outdated for the HVAC system. So we're 15 years this year. Some of the thermostats that are on the wall, I took a picture so you could see the difference. They're no longer communicating with the control system. So we had Renaud out last week. He replaced 3 of the units because if they're not working, it's not controlling the temperature and the space. So this is what they used to look like, and that's what they look like now.
Okay.
So what we had in the past is no longer compatible, so we had to upgrade to a model that's a little bit more than what we needed. But we have no choice. It's Johnson Controls. It's got to be compatible. So this week I have, or Tuesday, I have an appointment with somebody from Edge Automation. They specialize in controls. Because we're at the 15-year mark, we might qualify for a grant to go through the system and upgrade it. So we'll see. I'll have more news for you next month on that. We won't do anything, we won't make any decisions, but he's got to go through the system, see what it looks like, see what we're eligible for, and kind of give us
This
his
is our HVAC
recommendation.
system, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I don't have the invoice for those new temp sensors yet, but I'm sure those will be in and coming out of one of the grant accounts to cover that charge. We did find out that the full-time position that we requested for FY26 was not approved. Relates directly back to the benefits piece for the town. We just can't afford it for FY26, but we will revisit that in the future. As a reminder, the town meeting's on the 19th, Monday, May 19th at 7 p.m. So please go if you get a chance. So instead of going through the upcoming programs, because we're all full steam ahead for summer reading, we did a one-page sheet that starts with all of our events June 2nd and goes right through the end of August. There's a lot of events happening at the Pearl, so I would definitely suggest you go to our website, crawfordlibrary.org, and you can flip through the calendar. Some of them require registration, some do not. And we're going to be adding to the calendar too. This doesn't even include some of the pop-ups that Kathy will be offering. We discontinued the Tuesday movies in the Fells Room because of participation, so we're trying a family movie on Monday nights with pizza, and that's registration required, so we can have an idea of how many people show up. We added on crafter night, crafting for adults, because it was something that people were specifically asking for, so that will be on Monday nights. It won't be with Lena, it'll be with me, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But you're welcome to, we hope that people sign up and take advantage of that. So again, to see the full events list, I would definitely go to our calendar or follow us on Facebook. We're trying to put everything up on there too.
I do have a question about
Sure.
events and all that. I saw Davis Farmland
Yes.
on Facebook today.
Yes.
And is that for anyone, or is that you're offering it to Dudley residents first?
It's for anybody.
Okay.
We have 160 discounted passes to lend out, and when they're gone, they're gone. It's
Yeah.
for the whole season. They're not day specific, and they're open to anybody that has a library card.
Okay.
Sponsored by the Friends. So
And each pass is for one person, or?
it's, I believe, up to 4 people, $10
pass.
off. It's up to 6 people, $10 off each admission. It's the deepest discount they offer. So yeah, it's really good. And we did sell out of the Southwick Zoo passes. They're gone. So yeah. So we had 50 of those, so those are gone, which is great. The Friends were very happy about that. Deb, I don't know, I just want to point out a couple of special additions. Deb is doing a This Isn't Your Mother's Jell-O competition. So for anyone who wants to get creative with flavors and textures and throwbacks, that might be for you. That'll be a fun one. We added on a Shark Week celebration for this summer. We have magicians coming. We have science heroes coming. We have the gym teacher from Mason Road is going to do a monthly program with the kids. Puppet show, our regular music, the Picking Parlor Jam, and on and on and on. So please come. We had good participation in our ongoing passive programs for the month. The Take and Make Crafts, I think, for the teens is something that we're really proud of right now. The teens really are participating. I don't know if anyone saw the social media from yesterday, the Pringles Challenge. They had so much fun. It was a lot of fun. Kathy knocked it out of the park with that one. So it's nice to see them in the building, enjoying the building. They did 22 crafts last month. The spring egg hunt, we had 104 participants in April, which is right around what we did last year. We also had 270 participants for the petting zoo, which is right around what we estimated last year too. It's really hard to get a good number for that. The numbers through the doors weren't as high in April as they were the previous year. We had a lot of rain in 2024, so everybody that was at the zoo was in the children's room. This year we had beautiful weather, so I
All
would
outside.
say that most people stayed outside. And we also had the solar eclipse viewing in 2024, which added 180 people through the doors, so that was good.
That was a,
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
that was, well, I mean, the line in terms of, there were people queuing up almost at 8 o'clock that morning.
Yeah, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
How many of those
The glasses?
glasses did we have?
Oh, you're gonna ask me that. I'd
I
have
know
to
they
look
all
it
went
up.
out.
They did. I want to say 100 or 120.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
It could have been more than that. I
You must
don't
have,
know.
you turned away quite a few people then, I'm sure.
Yeah, we sure did. Library traffic is good. We're still trending up. We're going to go right through the end of the fiscal year with the gate counts, recording them, even though we know they're, for, you know, on the back end, even though we know we're skewed. I want to get to the end of that fiscal year before I start changing data. So, yeah, so we're still trending up. We're getting ready to go into our busy season. We have one more school visit next week. It's the first graders. They'll be in on Wednesday. So we've seen the second graders, the third graders, the first graders are up. So
So are you opening late?
we're going to open at 11. It's a lot of kids in the building. It's a lot of kids in the building. So the only people that are being asked to wait an hour is the Mahjong group, but we pushed their reservation, so they'll join us at 11 and they'll stay till 1. So they were very, you know, open to doing that, so.
Nice.
Yeah. So the circulation statistics are still climbing. I was a little surprised this month, happily surprised. So overall, with physical circs, they're up 20% year over year. Digital circs are also up 23% year over year. So I thought I'd go back and take a look at April 23 and see what those looked like comparatively, because I remember that they were up a lot last year, year over year too. So if you compare our circ stats, April 23 versus April 25, our circ stats were up 55% for physical. And digital is actually also up 51%. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see that continue to grow. And the staff loves to look at those. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
You're turning them
So-
into number geeks, aren't you?
I am, especially, yeah, it's kind of funny. We were looking at the new section, specifically the adult section, and this is concrete proof that that section is working, because we're not ordering any more or less material than we were ordering. It's all about the displays, yeah, and being able to access it. So we were excited about that. Lots of April programs. All the numbers here are listed. We had a total of 57 programs in April, just over 1,000 participants. Does anybody have any questions about any of those programs?
How many active book clubs are going on right now?
Including the children's, we have the graphic novel book club, we have the true crime book club, we have the Pearls book club, and I think that's it, 3. Well,
Cook or what have you, or?
oh yeah, Cook the Cookbook,
That's
and
it.
then we don't participate at the senior center with their book club, but we do the book selections with them.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
I attended the Dudley Women's Club annual banquet and sat at a table with 2 women who attend the Cook the Book Club, and they just love it.
Yeah.
They love it. So I'm planning on going to.
Good.
Be in June.
We are having one in May. It's actually next Monday. Deb pushed it up because she had so many attendees, and we're hoping that we wrap people up quickly so they can go to town meeting.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good place to
Right,
remind them
be
to go
like,
to town meeting.
okay, the
Here, you can
doors
have a
are
nice little
closed.
snack and
Out you
now-
go.
Sadly, this past month, I happened to be walking in to sign or come
Something.
into the library, And I knew a couple of people there. I said, "Oh, what's the good?" Oh, I've never smelled the library smell this good before. I got fed.
That was a plot.
I said, "Oh, this I gotta plan this right every year, every month. I gotta plan this
That
right."
lean and hungry look you have.
It was all right, but it was delicious. Oh my
They're
Lord!
doing the May
I
one.
literally
It
took a
just helps
picture
with
of one
consistency,
one,
because if they decided not to do it,
and said,
then
they had the book. I said,
Yeah.
"Where's this one? Where's this one?" I said,
That's
"Jeff, can I just tear the page out?" Shh, don't you?
But that's so nice.
was. It was
I'm so
really
glad
good.
to see
It
that
was
that's
fun.
working out.
Yeah,
It was fun.
they have a great group, and
Good.
like Deb
They
loves
just
it.
enjoyed.
I
They just
had,
fun.
yeah, I had to oversee the Monday guest reader, and Deb got her book club, and I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? Somebody's eating really good food. I mean, I got to be with the kids, so it was nice, but yeah, it was
And
good.
they do have fun. They just have fun. I mean, I knew half the group, and the half I didn't know. I said, "No, you could try mine. Try mine."
Oh.
It's like, "Oh, please,
You knew
thank
exactly
you,
what
thank
you
you."
were walking
come
into.
consistently for that one?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
You have to let
Other,
us know what you're making.
yes, and if you don't get to submit your recipe, it's fine. Still come enjoy. We say we like registrations, but it really doesn't matter. We just want to make sure that we have enough room for everybody, which we do. And speaking of time changes, the Crafternoons with Lena have been very successful, but we are noticing that we have less attendees because we are overlapping with programming at the senior center. So we have moved her programming from Wednesdays in the afternoon to Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. So some of those people can now attend Lena's Crafternoons. So we're going to see if that time works okay for everybody.
Have you done it yet on a Tuesday?
Nope, June 3rd will be our
Starts.
first
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah, so we did hear from one person who was disappointed because she likes the Wednesdays, but we,
You gotta try.
gotta try.
Gotta try.
And I think it's important that we work collaboratively with other, factions within town.
Exactly.
I think that's very important, so.
I agree. Kathy had a lot going on in the children's room as usual this month, so she included her stats here for you to see. She had 6 story times with 78 participants. She did 2 baby open plays. Wiggles and Giggles were here for 4 sessions. That was over 100 people. Me and My Mini is her new baby program that she has someone come in and facilitate. She has her graphic novel book club. The kids did the Cardboard Castle, I think was the name of it. Oh, if you haven't seen the pictures on Facebook, they did such a good job. They talked about the book, and then they built their own cardboard house complete with mailbox and doorbell. They had such a good time. We had the 2nd grade visiting us. We had 82 participants. The kids were able to explore our library of things and the STEM kits, and each child left with a book. Pokemon Club is still going strong. Anne-Marie Safai was on the front page of the paper. I don't know if everyone saw it, for the 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's Ride. So that was a great article. We had author and cartoonist Mark Parisi here. It really turned into an all-ages event. He was so funny and he is so talented. So that was a great program for everybody. We had 3 sessions of D&D in April, 20 participants, and then of course the zoo. Our regular scavenger hunts, the take and make crafts, and the 1,000 books before kindergarten. So she's got that room like running full tilt all the time.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love the postings on Facebook of the kids who are reading the books. Yeah.
Those posts do so well. Parents, grandparents, everybody loves to see those.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's really great. And the kids love it.
Absolutely. Well, that looks great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's see. Want to talk finances?
Sure.
Excellent.
We are, I say this every month, we're right where we need to be. We have almost expended all of our material requirements because of course we can add in museum passes and digital content to that number. I have sat with Sarah, the town accountant, and we figured out our new account names for going into FY26, which is exciting. Does anybody have any questions about?
And was that gonna be, I think we talked about it at our last meeting, there was gonna be some movement of some, like, utilities and so forth
Yep.
to kind of.
So we're gonna break
regroup.
utilities out, so instead of just being utilities, which encompasses, it could be cable, it could be phone, I mean, phone is broken out here, but we're gonna focus on having just a classification for energy. That's pretty standard for the state reporting, so it will just make it easier to report things out. And then we're gonna roll the telephone and the cable, the trash, all of that into the other utilities line. I can break that out easily for you guys to see, but I think that will make it easier to budget moving forward. And she was very open to doing that. And then, of course, we're gonna be moving some money from the utilities line into the building maintenance contract line, because that's where the money needs to be, as you can see by the
Yes.
breakout there. So,
Those contracts never go down.
no.
No. Nicole, question for you. Is that going to keep us more in line with the other, like, groups within the town?
That I don't know. I don't know how a lot of the other departments have it broken out. The third set of numbers that are on these account numbers are like accounting classifications, so they're probably very similar to ours. I think it's going to be easier for everybody to see exactly where we're spending the money and making sure it's being spent from the right accounts.
And several departments are in this building, so they
Right.
don't have,
Yeah, they don't have the.
they don't
don't
get
have what we
involved
have.
with
Not a
maintenance
building,
and the
yes,
utility, they don't get the
exactly.
utility part of it that we do.
And the town wasn't gonna absorb any of the phone?
No, I asked. They said no. They said no,
only
thank
ask. You
you.
can only ask.
But they fully funded it, so it's good.
Yep.
It's good, and then we really get to see how it's being spent too, which is nice. So,
That's great. Thank you so much for that.
yeah, thank you. So we're going to be completely spent down this year, Richard.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yes.
It's the goal.
Perfect. All right, our fourth point on our agenda this evening is the action plan, goals, and objectives, subcommittee. So, start to talk about this, and when I screw it up, you can straighten me out. In working with the evaluation that we did for Nicole, we recognized that at the end of that evaluation, there were 4 goals that needed to be set, or action plan kind of movements. Just, it's only fair to Nicole that she have, like, what does the board expect? Like, where are we moving? Where are your personal goals wanting to take you? So, and I know that I have my,
Actually, they're specific to
Yep.
professional development.
yes,
Let's see, it should be on
I may
the
still,
last page. Yeah, here we go. These. Okay.
perfect. So they were part 4 of the evaluation that we did. The first one was, let's see. Action plan for further professional development. Actions to be taken by the employee, actions by the supervisor. So we needed to kind of develop some places to go. What the training would look like in order to, reach these goals, and then what improvements were expected both personally by Nicole, but also like what our library would reap from these improved goals. I also feel like there's something else there too, Pat.
Well, at the very beginning, there are some, with dates, I believe.
Absolutely, I trust you.
Okay, here we go. Objectives, and then the start dates.
Okay.
Probably the objectives is even less.
Okay, so basically what we need to do is we need to kind of work with, obviously with you, Nicole, to set up some goals or what have you, and then what's the steps that we're going to use to, kind of benchmark and ensure that you're successful. And the reason that I kind of put like a subcommittee on that is that I didn't necessarily think it had to be a whole board that was doing that. But obviously, I mean, I'm one person, so we need to have a conversation about this.
sitting with the town administrator 2 weeks ago now. Nicole and I went in and talked to him about this whole process, the whole evaluation process, the contract process, the goals and objective process, everything. First, he suggested we line it up with the fiscal year, so we're all on the same boat. So we're starting July 1. Wanted a 3-year contract, which obviously this is semi-part of that. But he said, you don't have to have it by July 1. You get that to me in July, fine. I said, so if we put together a group to work with Nicole to figure out a 3-year contract and bring it to the next board meeting, which will be June, and you obviously won't get it till probably July, so the board has it, we give it to the board, whoever does it, get to the full board, and we talk about it. He said that'd be fine, and I said, goals and objectives can be part of that? He said, that makes sense. You know, the whole thing making sense that fiscal year, a contract, and then goals and objectives, and then we could do a quick review and give her this stuff beginning of the fiscal year, so by 9 months from now, we revisit all this, so we're ready for the next fiscal year. So that's kind of what John was talking about. So the idea of a subcommittee, I mean, few people just sit down with Nicole, because, I mean, we brought Nicole into this because every other department head is working with the town administrator to figure out all of this. And so we were talked about that, we were doing it, and it was like, shouldn't Nicole be part of this? So Nicole went with me to talk to the town administrator, and it worked very well. I mean, the only thing he was looking for pretty much was for fiscal year to be planning, since we are doing this kind of the 9th hour here, planning for the budget process. And he honestly, I looked at different statistics that we had been gathering, Nicole helped gather, and the median, the area towns, different things that have been offered, and that suggests, he asked for a number, so I threw it out there, and it was 82,000 for next fiscal year for Nicole. And then that would probably, didn't he say we probably voted it in the fall? And we'll have to talk to him more about that, the logistics of exactly how this happens, and be retroactive. But that's, when we left that meeting, it was the idea of working through the process to start the fiscal year off on a new
With
page.
a hard number.
Hard number, and with all the different documents in place. And working with Nicole to work together to get everybody on the same page. So that's how I came out of the meeting.
I thought that's where we were gonna talk about this, but.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And we can, I mean, there's, I mean, because we can do whatever we want. It was just that he was asking for something by July, if we didn't do it before
A
that.
little over.
Okay,
So, that's how I came out of that meeting. And I must admit, because I wasn't at the last meeting, I probably missed some of what you people talked about in previous meeting.
Okay.
So the goals and the objectives would come right from the strategic plan, and then we would drill them down based on what you guys want me to focus on for FY '26?
that's traditionally how it's done. I just wanted to see if there was anything that I had missed.
That makes sense.
If I may, how would this subcommittee be constituted? We're looking for 2 members, 3 members, or is there any
You would
magic
want
in
more
it?
than that.
We just have to keep
would
it
want
less
more
than,
than
that.
we have to keep it less than 3 for
Yeah,
open
for your
meeting
list,
law.
yeah.
Yep.
But if we want to do it, if we want to do this all tonight, I mean, because it's on the agenda, parts of it are at least.
I'm not sure we're quite ready to do it tonight.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I took this as indication that we were looking to put a subcommittee together.
Right.
As opposed to
And then do it
constituting one
separate
and
Yes.
and then come
moving
back
forward with
and
that. I'm not
present.
sure.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought, that we would move to subcommittee, we would have, probably 2 folks who would be willing to go through, kind of pick out, along, working with Nicole, like, these are where we want to see, like, the goals set up, if you will. This is how, and obviously, like, we have to make sure that they go along with where Nicole wants to see
Right,
the library,
exactly.
you know, I mean, everybody, you know, knows where we want to be. But by having subcommittee, then it could be people who actually become, for lack of a better word, you know, the SMEs of, this is where the goal planning should go. And then it could be presented at our June meeting and probably voted on by the board. Our SMEs would explain, this is what we talked about, this is how we got to where we are. And I feel strongly about this, especially because Jean's not here this evening. I feel like it's an entire, I think that we need to all be part of the final product, but not maybe necessarily the jumping in and starting. But
Yeah,
that's.
I would say whoever is on that committee produces something at least a week before our next meeting and gets it dispersed to all members, so they have time to read it, digest it, and ask questions about it.
I would like to be on the action plan and objectives committee, and I think Jean, that would be a good place for her as a new member
Okay.
of the trustee board.
If you want, I can send her a note and ask if that's,
Mhm.
if she'd be willing to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Pat, okay.
How many do you wish? I mean, I have no problem doing it. I
2
mean,
with Nicole or 3 with Nicole?
yeah. I mean, willing to do it.
You just said you didn't want more than 2 people.
No more than 3.
Oh, no more than 3, okay.
Right, because if we have more, then it becomes a meeting.
Well, there's really not a problem in terms of you could have a meeting. You have to publish an agenda, obviously, and there is that responsibility. And it has to be open to the public, but many subcommittees meet as regular bodies, if you will, and have public access. So I don't think we need necessarily to keep it away from the public. Although,
I think-
if we wanted to,
if
certainly
we
that's
have
okay.
3 people with Nicole, I think that's probably more than enough to.
I'm fine with that.
All right. So that committee then, we're looking at Pat,
We don't know about Jean.
Jane, potentially, and Ben, is it the
Fine
third?
with me.
You sure, Ben?
Yes.
Okay.
It does help that we're retired. Not pulling you away from work.
I'm a little jealous, I'm not gonna
All
lie.
right. So then we need a committee for Crawford Corner then.
So I had sent this to, also because it had come up at the last couple of meetings, and I would like to see maybe something a little more concrete kind of developed.
Mhm.
It does not have to be anything huge, but I would like to see something just so we can show as a board we are moving in a positive direction as opposed to it stagnating. I know that Nicole has spoken with the staff. They have obviously voiced their concerns about it, which I think is very important because they are there, and they would be responsible for said space. But, you know, I love the fact that when we started talking about it, suddenly, you know, Nicole was like, oh, I think a table here in the entryway to keep, you know, drinks and food out of the library, this is a good start. But it's also a good start to move something to develop another space. So that was another reason that I put it on like a subcommittee, like, how do we want to work at this? What do we want to think about? And again, it does not have to be elaborate, it's just moving forward as opposed to stagnating.
Yeah, make a decision,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of some sort.
Okay, well, I think in general terms, we talked about that would be increased parking
Mm-hmm.
and some semblance of a parking lot, if you will, but
Mhm.
not, I think I made the point, or tried to make the point, that we try to avoid the asphalt and yellow lines and try to, you know, make it somewhat more compatible with the environment, or
Mhm.
if that can be done on a more of a natural state as opposed to, you know, that cold,
Yeah.
clear, you know, what was
Yeah,
that song?
Not just wipe everything out
Like
and
that,
put
right?
asphalt.
What was
yeah,
what was
exactly.
the song? I'm dating myself, I know, tore down Paradise and go put up a parking lot.
Yes.
You know, not that that is paradise necessarily, but.
Not
you know,
yet, not
We
yet.
want to get away from them. you know,
Right.
The asphalt, the stark asphalt, yellow line concept, I suspect. I would be willing to go along with, you know, being part of that.
Okay, thank you, Richard.
I hope we realize too, this is putting more on you. I mean, we as subcommittees will be looking to you as a resource or participant, at least at some level. So,
If
No, I
you
understand.
get
It's a-
Input from the staff, I mean,
Yeah.
I I think they had some good comments.
Definitely. And I don't know if people from outside of the trustees can participate, but Lynette Lepper said that she would absolutely want to be part of that garden group. She just was certified for landscape planning.
Who's this?
Lynette Lepper?
Oh, Lynette.
Master Gardener?
Yeah. So she was in the other day and she was asking, and I said, well, we don't have any plans yet, but these are different things that we're thinking of. So she's definitely interested in joining a subcommittee.
Good.
Yep.
Joyce, is that something?
I kind of thought we had already kind of decided going forward that parking was the biggest thing, and what's the purpose of having this subcommittee? What is the ultimate goal of this subcommittee? Because we've already had so many discussions about this, and I kind of thought we were already heading in a direction.
Well, I guess the process of where to begin, and, you know, because you need contractor and, you know.
So what are you hoping that the subcommittee going to do?
So I feel like up to this point, we've kind of like thrown ideas out. What do we think, what, if we, you know, if money was no issue, like what could we do? So let's kind of brainstorm. I love the idea that we came up, like, yes, parking is definitely necessary because we would like to be able to have more activities like kind of close to the building. We'd like to have places for our patrons to park, obviously, when they're there. If we had something going on like the zoo, could we just rope that off and use that area? Yes, I think that was a great idea. So what I would suggest is that the subcommittee at this point would look at that space and say, okay, this is, in order to use this space as a parkable area or as an area for example, a visiting zoo, what would we need to change this piece of, like, how would we need to change this piece of land in order to make that so, to make that usable? Because I don't think, as of right now, we could put our cars there and park them
Yeah.
safely.
And I think that
Am I wrong, or?
a list of things that we need to take into consideration,
Mhm.
like it is an uphill, so we need access for handicapped, and possibly stairs and a ramp, or things like that. Just thinking ahead, thinking of security, thinking of the things that